Hi there, this is Vince Ritchie, graduate admissions guy, talking about Resume Bonsai. Thanks for watching this video. I'm a graduate admissions advisor and counselor helping more than 10 years helping people apply to the world's leading graduate and business schools. In the process of my work, I've created hundreds of resumes. Last time I checked, more than 500 resumes in the last 10 plus years. The process of creating these resumes with my clients, it's the first thing that I do when I'm working with a client. And so I thought I would pass on some of the wisdom and knowledge I hope that might be valuable to you as you make your resume. Whether you're making your resume for graduate school or for a job, whatever reason, we all need resumes. I call this resume bonsai because I've come to view resumes as living things. They require proper planning and constant care. If you're going to ever make a bonsai tree, which by the way I've never done, my grandpa used to make them and I was pretty fascinated with them. People say that you should make some drawings of what you want the tree to look like or how you want it to grow, because over the life of the plant you want to have a vision in your mind of where you want this thing to go. And so I think that's a very proper metaphor for the resume as you pursue an opportunity. Look, you're really busy, and unless you're bored of watching cute kitten videos on YouTube, you're spending your time with me today because you're trying to get something. Right, you're trying to get a job that's not easy to get, or you're trying to get into a school that doesn't admit every single applicant. You're seeking, you're challenging, you're reaching for something out there that isn't easy. And I support you, and I'm trying to give away some free tips and some free advice here to help you shape yourself into a tree, if you will, that grows the right way and catches the light and thrives in your life. That's my goal for everyone that watches these videos, and thanks again for your time. So this resume bonsai concept is super abstract. So let's get down to concrete details here. When you're creating a resume, you want to remember your audience, right? You're not just doing this because you are bored or that someone told you had to do it. You're actually trying to get something for yourself. It takes hours and hours and hours to create a resume, and guess what? The person who reviews it, the screener or the reader, most people don't read resumes. They screen them. You're going to spend 10 hours or more making a resume, very detailed thought. I spend about an hour per client making or improving a resume, sometimes more. Before I even see someone's resume, they've spent countless hours producing it and touching it up a bit. The person you send it to, or even worse these days, a computer may be screening your resume, just looking for keywords. It's sad, but it's true. You got to remember your audience. Only 4 sections in the resumes that I produce for 95% of my clients only need 4 sections in the resume. You see them here on the screen. CEEP. Contact information, education, experience, and personal. Those are the only 4 sections that most of you watching this video are going to need. If you're a specialist, or you have an academic CV, or you want a PhD, or you're trying to be a professor, forget it. You need more than 4 sections. But most of us in life, for most of the jobs out there, and my clients are highly successful people trying to get into Harvard and Stanford and Wharton and INSEAD and London and top schools in the world, they have very strong careers, but even they only need 4 resume sections because, again, they're not trying to be researchers. So what are these 4 sections and what do you put in them? This first C is contact information, and keep it simple. A bonsai is a great metaphor, again, because you're planning a document that is going to fit into, look how small the little box is here. You may move it once or twice, but you don't want to move bonsai much, so I've been told. The point of a bonsai tree, invented and an art created in Japan, a small island nation with very with a very dense population is to have beauty in small spaces. Resumes, even if you have a 10 or 20 or 30 years of experience, I have 20 years of working experience, 10 years in admissions counseling, 10 years in some other stuff you can see in my LinkedIn profile, what I used to do, I still have a one-page resume. It's a good practice and exercise for me. I customize it every time. If I'm seeking an opportunity, I present a customized resume. So you have to pick and choose. It's a constant process of trimming and cutting away to get the vision to go where you want. So 50 lines, 50 lines, one page. Contact information should be simple. If you move, so it consists of your name, of course, your physical mailing address, and one email address and one phone number. That's it. What if you move? Send an update. You're going to send out 40 or more resumes for every time you even get a reply, let alone an interview. If you're in the job market, or even if you're in the admissions world, you're gonna throw out more than you get back naturally. 3 months later, you've moved your physical address, or you've got a new mobile phone number, or whatever, your email changed. Send an update. Hi, I'm still interested in your opportunity. Since I sent my resume a few months ago, here's some. I've gotten a promotion. I've also learned more about your company by talking to current employee A or current employee B. I'm still interested in working with you. I believe we have a good fit. I've updated my resume, as you can see in the attached document. Please, I look forward to hearing from you. Again, you might not hear back from them, but it gives you a great excuse to follow up. So contact information, keep it simple. The education section. I always put the education section just below contact information because most of my clients are trying to get into graduate school, and in an education environment, remembering your audience, if I'm an admissions officer, the first thing I ask myself usually is, okay, here's this applicant. Where did she go to school? What did she study? And how well did she study, right? If your grades were good. Good grades is a relative criteria. You need to know if your grades are good relative to your competitors. In the US system, usually there's a 4.0 scale. Other countries have 10-point scales or letter scales, or there's a million ways to evaluate academic performance. I'll speak from my concept, and my perspective is US 4.0. Good if you studied things like me, history, English, stuff without a lot of math and numbers or hard science. Good is 3.5 or better. If you did study hard science, technical field, did a lot of math, then usually people say 3.2, 3.3 is considered good. But again, I leave that to you to find out if your GPA is something that's valid for the position you seek, and if your academic performance would be considered good in the context in which you are applying for this opportunity. So in the education section, your audience, the person screening or reading your resume, is asking herself, okay, this education section either shows me IQ or EQ or both. What that means is, again, the academics, if those aren't strong, show what you were doing in university that was valuable to you, and maybe indirectly why your grades might not be included. It's pretty much assumed, when I see a resume, if someone hasn't mentioned their GPA, I assumed it falls below, again, from a US context, 3.5 or 3.2. Fine, okay, no problem. Not everyone did great at university. What did this person do? Oh, varsity captain of, team captain of a varsity sport, or worked 30 hours a week supporting yourself in a variety of jobs, or founded an important organization, or did something in the university, was highly active in some context. Show how you spent your time. If it wasn't hitting the books and getting great grades, show us what you did. You can show EQ, right, emotional intelligence, even if you're not always able to show IQ. Whether or not your education section goes above your experience, again, depends on the opportunity you're seeking. I usually put education right below contact information for the reasons I've explained. All right, let's talk about the experience section. This is the most important part of a resume. In most cases, and it's so the education is sort of the roots. Let's use a real picture here. This is a real bonsai. I believe I sort of see education as being the base of the tree here, the foundation, and maybe the roots, the invisible part, but the very critical part. It's your core skill. It's your core value, if you will. It's how you choose to spend your time, whether it's in academics or outside of academics. It demonstrates your roots, if you will, literally, because you were 18 or something when you went to university or college the first time. Most of us, anyway, were much younger than we are now, or at least a little bit younger. And so, again, the bonsai metaphor, education is roots. Experience is sort of the main branch of the tree, and I think the key with experience is differentiation. Having so when you're making a bonsai tree, so the masters tell us, you don't want to have all the branches going to the same place. Trees, like all living things and all plants especially, need light from the sun or from some light source, and so you want to spread the branches out. And how does this relate to resume? You want to show a variety of skills that are custom matched to the opportunity that you seek. I use a little acronym here for skills, and those are TAI. I think they're all skills that people have can basically break down into technical, one or more of the following categories. I'm going to do something dangerous and type as I talk. Technical, because I forgot to do this before I made this video. Technical, analytical. So you can also see my spelling. I never was known for my spelling skills. And I stands for interpersonal. Yeah. TAI. So differentiating your skills, again, so what's technical? Technical would be something that you can take a test in. Consulting. Accounting. Certain legal knowledge. Maybe anything that can be certified. I view language as technical skill in the sense of mastering the vocabulary, or sometimes the characters, the writing system for a lot of languages is very difficult to master. Anything that involves say coding, an advanced computer language. Unfortunately these days, Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, those are technical skills, but they're pretty much expected in this day and age. So yes, they're technical, but I don't usually include them in resumes. A stands for analytical. So technical, let's make this real simple. Not a tree, but let's physicalize this in your body. Technical is things you can do with your hands, typing, calculating, or also technical skills would be anything, physical, building stuff, making stuff, designing stuff. Is technical often. Analytical pretty much has to do with your mind, how you assess information, maybe how you use the technical knowledge to apply it. So again, using a lawyer or a doctor or a highly specialized person, an accountant, you've learned a bunch of rules and principles, but then you have to use your mind to apply them. So analytical deals with how the brain uses the information that's been mastered and controls the hands. I'm not going to stick with this metaphor too much because I'm going to confuse myself and make you all dizzy watching this video. Interpersonal, again, to physicalize it, is the heart and the voice, in other words. How you relate to people, how you connect with human beings. Again, sometimes using technical information, sometimes communicating your ideas as well. So TAI, so you want to have you want to have different branches of your resume that catch the sunlight and that grow, if you will, to help you secure the opportunity that you seek. So, but the thing about these skills is you can't really just say you have them. You've got to prove it. So remember your audience. You're trying to stand out from hundreds or thousands, a pile of resumes. So when you remember your audience and when you actually try to differentiate yourself using your different skills, TAI, technical, analytical, and interpersonal, you've got to prove it. You can't just tell me that you have certain skills. You've got to prove them. So the metaphor, the acronym that I use here, or the simple bear with me here for a second. Technical problem. Show, don't tell. Show me that you have these skills. Don't tell me that you have these skills. You got to show them. So, if you want to have language skill, show me your level. If you took a test, again, this is where certifications are really valuable to prove it. But if it's not something that can be certified or externally validated, then you've got to try to quantify and qualify. So you've got to show me and don't tell me. The value of a resume. Here's the first most important thing that I want you to remember is your audience. Who's looking at your resume and what do they care about? It's a highly personal document, and it's a highly personal process because this is your life. But it's not a document you're making for you, it's a document you're making for someone else. That's important point one. Important point two about a resume is that it has to demonstrate how you have improved upon the work of others. Improvement, contribution, going above and beyond what was expected. This relates to the first point about audience because I don't know what you do actually. None of us knows so much about other people, really. We spend our lives doing what we do. We may work in teams, but anyway, we know what we do, and we assume others know what we do. They don't. You need to have external frameworks or context. Let me be really concrete here. You need numbers, and you also need qualifiers. You have to quantify and qualify every achievement. That's the way you prove that what you did was valuable, that what you did was better than what others had done before you or what others around you were doing. That's how you stand out and differentiate yourself and prove that you have the skills you claim you have. This is the most important point when writing the text of a resume, is including numbers, first of all. Can be money. What if you're a teacher? I used to be a teacher. We don't measure our it's not finance, right? Or it doesn't usually, there are budgets, but you're not evaluated by how much profit you make. But you can still quantify the improvement. You can still use percentages. Or what if you're in a tiny little startup, like me, a one-man business, and you're trying to apply for a huge company, right? You've been running a small one-person operation or small family company, or even a medium-sized company, a multi-million-dollar company, but you're trying to go to a billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar company. It's relative improvement, and that's where percentages are great. Improved performance of such and such by 10% or 20%. Improved evaluations, externally validated metrics or numbers are awesome. And you want to have those in your bullet points in the resume everywhere you can. Every time I look at a resume, every time I see something, I always want to know, can you quantify this? Numbers are always useful. I don't care what section you work, what sector of the economy you're in, nonprofit or education, or for-profit companies, or anywhere in between. Numbers are great. They help tell stories. They're concrete and they're universal. Especially if you're trying to apply for an opportunity that is outside of your home country or outside of your home culture, or even in your own small town or big city, but again in a different context, a different building, a different organization, a different industry. You have to tell us what the benchmark of success is. Numbers are really valuable. The other really valuable tool here, and another one of my stupid little acronyms, we have some acronyms so far. We remember CEEP, right? Contact information, education, experience, which is what we're talking about now, and personal, which is what we're talking about next. TAI, technical, analytical, interpersonal. Consultants love acronyms. My next little stupid acronym is FYOB. First, youngest, only, or best. I'm not going to do that mistake and type on the screen again. Please just remember this one. It's also elsewhere on my website. First, youngest, only, or best. So first, First one to do something, show innovation. Youngest means your skills are above average for your age. Only, you're the only one to do something within the group. You're the only American in a group of non-Americans in some cases, or you're the only person from your cultural background or functional background in a larger context. And that would imply that you're, which is what B stands for, the best. Best is also, you can't, it's, you know, you can say I'm the best, but no one's really going to believe you. Best is usually proven through external validation, some award. So I can tell you I was a teacher, and if I show you that I have an award from the state of Louisiana as teacher of one of the teachers of the year or something, I don't remember, an excellent teacher award or something that my students and the parents of my students nominated me for, and I was chosen. That's an external validation from the government. It's not me saying, hey, I'm one of the world's best teachers or one of Louisiana's best teachers. It's an external validation. So awards are great. And this goes back briefly, let me add one more detail. This also relates to education. If you got a scholarship, you know, that wasn't just a loan from a bank, it actually involved what we call merit-based scholarship. Mention the scholarship and mention the money. If it was, you know, more than a couple bucks, a couple dollars, a couple $100 or more in your whatever currency, quantify a scholarship and show us that you got a scholarship. Scholarships are great. People often forget at university to highlight those, and I think you should always remember them. All right, we are at P now, C-E-E-P, personal. Let me go back to my visuals. So going back to our metaphor, really briefly to sum up, I think of education as the roots and the bottom of the trunk of the tree. Experience is the main branches, if you will, you know, the core, middle, whatever. I'm not a botanist. This could be the trunk too, but you know, the middle part that supports the branches. The branches are what get the attention. We have a nice broad array of branches catching sunlight, showing many skills. And then, to use a different visual here, we've got personal. These are the flowers, or I guess these are berries. They're the leaves, the colorful bits. They're just little things that are added. They're the fruit, if you will. If we're going to use a food metaphor, I must be getting hungry. It's like the little bowl of berries after the meal or whatever, the chocolate. It's a little something that adds some flavor. The key thing with this personal section is to show an unusual combination of skills. I think it's really hard to prove that you're the only person in the world who could do something, or that you know, to prove that you have a Olympic gold medal. You know, not all of us have Olympic gold medals or Academy Awards or whatever it is. But all of us, I think, have a unique combination of A and B and C of things that are uniquely... So a typical example would be somebody with a very technical, hard science or mathematical background who loves arranging flowers or growing bonsai trees, right? Hard and soft, this kind of unique combination, or soft and hard. You know, somebody who's a poet or a highly literary type of person who emphasizes soft interpersonal skills, but who, builds metal boxes or I don't know, whatever, builds stuff, remote control airplanes or something. When she's not teaching literature, she's building robots or something weird like that, where you've got an unusual combination. Another really fun combination is like high and low. So, considered high status culture, and then also, leading expert on McDonald's milkshakes or something stupid, where you've got, I appreciate the common things in life, the little things, but I've also got this highly advanced skill set, but I'm also human. I've got showing some sense of humor. Also, technically showing certifications. This often goes in the personal section, or a unique combination of skills. These are color. These are this personal section. This information is conversation starters, things that you want someone to ask you about in the interview. These aren't usually what I see far too much in this personal thing is just a very flat list. Enjoys running, reading novels, watching movies, and shopping or traveling. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't really do anything for me. I want to actually know, again, either some highlights about some of those activities or some achievements in some of those activities. Let me answer a question that I get all the time, and then we're going to wrap this up under 30 minutes. Clients, or when I give this talk to 500 people a year or so, at an event that I attend where I'm a keynote speaker talking about resumes. People often ask me, let's say I did a varsity sport in university and I still play now for fun. Do I put that under education? Do I put that under personal? Depends. If something started and stopped during university, it goes under education. So if you were the varsity tennis captain, but you don't really play tennis much now, and it's not something you'd want to talk about at the interview, it's not a common interest or activity that you'd want to use to forge a connection with the person who's reading the resume or scanning the resume or talking to you in an interview, then you would list it only under education to show leadership and dedication under university and skill. If you're still playing it now, teaching kids tennis, volunteering at a tennis camp, organizing friendly matches, or even company teams or whatever, it may be in both sections. It really depends. If it's something that's ongoing, the other thing that personal shows is loyalty, dedication, contribution. So organizing alumni activities is a great thing to do if you're applying to graduate school, to show taking extra steps to keep in touch with people and being an active alumni member, or anything even in a company that you do to stimulate culture or discussion, a study group, or an activity that was above and beyond what was expected of you. Again, going back to this idea that remembering your audience, showing the context of your achievements, and most of all, showing that what you have done improved upon what others would do. Because again, remembering your audience, we don't know what's normal and then therefore what's good. And you can't just say you're good, you've got to show it. All right, that's it really. Let me just quickly give a brief summary here of what I've talked about. A good resume has 4 sections, C, E, E, P. Sometimes the E's can be switched, but I always put education above experience. Again, most of the resumes I make are for graduate school. Also, if your education is something you want to highlight for whatever reason, either it's a brand name university that you want to highlight, if you don't have a lot of other brand names on your resume, the things you've been doing and the places you work don't stand out or don't ring, or aren't universally recognized as being of high quality, but your university was, you always keep education at the top. It depends, or if you're trying to go back and do what you did in school. 3 main skills, TAI, technical, analytical, interpersonal. Quantify everything whenever possible. That can either be with any kind of numbers or money, and if you're not dealing with money or the money itself isn't impressive, use a percentage to show that it's a relative improvement if the money itself isn't going to be impressive in a business situation. Qualify, the acronym here is FYOB, first, youngest, only, or best. Include that kind of stuff. And here's my last comment. I read stuff online, I read blogs, I read about resumes because I want to know about resumes, because it's part of my job to know about them and to make them as good as they can be. Is LinkedIn replacing the resume? Is the resume obsolete? No. The skills behind a resume are always valuable. Whether or not a one-page resume has been the currency of admissions and job searching in the 10 years I've been working. 10 years from now, perhaps, they may be replaced by something else, but they may not. But here's what will never change. The skills involved in creating a great resume, which are self-reflection, critical thinking, storytelling, knowing yourself, knowing what's out there, and matching what you have to offer, and really making a core argument that shows you're the best at what you do and that you're going to give more than what's expected of you in the future because you've given more than what was expected of you in the past. if you can tell that story, it won't matter if the resume changes shape. It can be in any format you want. These skills are valuable anytime. And that's the core value, I think, that I'm adding in my business, is that I really come at this whole approach with a skill building perspective, trying to give away great skills and insights to make you achieve your goals, and to help you get where you're trying to go. That's why I'm here. And I want to thank you for your time and attention. Please, I have a lot of videos. I'm always trying to make more. If you like what you see, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. It helps me promote myself. Like it, don't like it, ask me questions. If you are going to be attending one of these presentations that I'm giving, ask your questions here so that when I give my presentation, I can customize this presentation rather than repeating exactly what you've heard today in this video. I can add particular content that directly relates to your areas of concern. So asking those questions here in my YouTube channel is the best way for me to keep track of all the questions that are asked out there. I always see the questions. I don't always respond to them right away, depending on if I'm traveling or what I'm doing in my other work. But I always appreciate them, and I always respond to them as fast as I can. So please do subscribe and ask me questions, and I'll do my very best to continue helping you do your very best. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.